going on, people? Hope you've had a good day. Keep pushing. Been doing a lot of research, getting a lot of feedback. And I appreciate you guys for giving feedback. But listen, let's try to come together with some ideas, solutions. I know in some of my previous podcasts, I kind of maybe sound like I'm complaining. Not my intent. What's it look like in 25 years? I've been working on a few solutions and a plan, and if anybody is out there listening, if you have a plan or solution, let's talk about it. If you have a plan and solution, before you start hating, before you start having some type of envy or animosity, bring up your plan. Let's talk about it. My drive every day is for my family. As to before, is for a drug. It's for my ego, myself, what I wanted. But truly what I want is my boys to have another chance. My kids to have a chance in life. I want my boys and my kids and other kids to experience life. We've got a lot of work to do. I offer a solution. I believe that we need to start talking about America and the nations, the many different nations in America. How do we work towards the same agenda? Clearly, this isn't going to work for another 25 years. Clearly, the debt that we see, clearly the middle class and the poverty that we see isn't going to work for another 25 years. Right now, about 49% of American baby boomers are in or are entering retirement. Those baby boomers own up to about, I think it was $2 to $7 trillion of the world's economy. Where's that money going to go? What investments can we make here in America to better improve our current situation? How do we advance? I think it's important that each nation are to look at its own culture assets to the world, improve on that in those ways. I hope a lot of you listeners have taken the time out to research a couple things. Climate change in business, how to affect business. Climate change and how to affect your living situation. Our minds need to be reactivated. Never mind what you're doing. Allow your mind to be reactivated. You are life. What you have to offer is what we need as humanity and to continue on the greatness in America. Call it cliche, call it cheesy. You feel the same way. Have you never tried to apply your brain and thought of what it would feel like to be a country that doesn't have living structures like we do, that doesn't have the greatest technology, the freedoms that we do? I mean, there's a lot of great countries out there, I'm sure, Don't get me wrong, but America, man, come on. Football season coming up. What's more American than football? Apple pie. That's about it. The world is ready for football right now. Shortly after that, we'll have basketball. We can't forget right now we're playing baseball and soccer. If America wasn't the world's currency, if we didn't have the power that we have now, like if the world's currency wasn't predominantly traded in American USD, if that wasn't a fact, what would sports be like? What would your life even be like? If a dollar was worth shit to the world, what would things be like? How do we protect our unique assets that we offer the world here in America? My concerns aren't too much about any other country at this point. There's a lot. There's a lot going on, man, and I think that we've gotten away from our divine purpose that we all have in common. Some call it legacy, but I call it a continuum. It's time to wake up, people. There's a lot we can be doing right now to establish a living, lasting legacy. There's so many things that are to come as far as for human beings to experience. And a lot of people are afraid to look at that actuality of, damn, we are here. We are in the future. It takes a boss to look at stuff like that. You are a boss. Period. If you're alive at this point in time in your life, you're a boss. You need to know something. Boom, I'm in my phone. Bah, 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 bah. Got the information. You want to start a business? Boom, LegalZoom. I'm on it. If you need to develop a relationship with the individual, boom, Facebook. I'm on him. I mean, like, there's really no excuse. To the new listeners, I have battled a long fight with addiction to drugs in general, but my most fight was against a hard drug, and I'm not looking back, but being sober, the world is different. It's more important than you gave it credit to be while chasing those highs, and that's what I did. I felt like, wow, the world was awesome before, but now it's just like being sober and being able to clearly see is just amazing, and it's motivating and passionate, and I don't mean to come off as rough and over passionate about it, but it's time to wake up, people. Like, who's going to be leading? Like, so people are getting old, and the people who are getting old have a lot of money in terms of what they'll be leaving behind. I mean, and when you go down to that search of who you are, like, you look at stuff like this, and like, you build something up to die. And so to the other people, like, your legacy is important, and we have an opportunity to continue legacies and carry on legacies while establishing new ones. And that's really the reason for this podcast, is to gain some traction, gain a common perception for a direction of America. And I think it takes individual enlightenment and individual truth seeking to go to the next realm that America is supposed to lead on, to ascend into a place of information, consciousness, openness. And some to some of my people out there, this sounds cheesy, but only a boss can look at it. That's stuff that's hard to do. Your norm is getting on, putting some starch in the pants, popping the collar, getting out stunting, or suiting up, going to the boardroom, or whatever your day-to-day is. That's what you're used to. So to stop that and to think beyond that, only a boss can do that. And that's a challenge, because that's what it's going to take. We've got incarceration, rehabilitation. We've got incarceration, reinsertion to society. Do they have the proper programs? I'd like to see an opportunity given to people that are being reinserted to live their dream of starting or creating a new business. How do we make that more available for them to do that? There's a lot of beautiful minds that are locked up behind the walls, man. And I tell you, they are some answers to issues that we have now. There's not enough ownership. And I mean in terms of business and homes. How do we practice better ownership? Better understanding debt, better understanding financial and economics. Where's that problem predominantly lay in? The black community. Boom. Let's pay close attention to that. Let's get this program in there. Let's tie it to athletics and training and sports. Boom. Anybody with any ideas, please share them. Let's make and keep. Actually, no, that's kind of lame. I can't think of a time where America was really great. I'm sure a baby boomer can. But I mean, like, the only term that comes to me is like, let's make America awesome. Or dope. Or because that's the generation that the leadership is headed. Those are we believe dope and cool and awesome versus great. Everybody has an opportunity, man, to create a legacy. Those that are dying off into the sunset, and I hate to admit to it, and because it's going to be my turn sooner or later. We live and die. How do you want your legacy to be continued? And I think there's ways we can come up with investments, new investments for people that are entering retirement to kind of subsidize their retirement income with some dividends, or with modern day IPOs or whatever assets to invest in. And so I kind of got a brain fart, and I'm totally off topic, but the moral of the story is our job's not done. I'm kind of ringing the alarm, shaking the bell because of the experiences that I've had, and some of the knowledge that I've come into as far as research, and it's a bad direction, people. And not only does the bad direction and that trend look that way without climate change, but if you apply climate change and what we do not know about it, and all these other variables, it's just a stark thing, and we need to elevate and shift our way of thinking. And I think it could be a double-sided situation. And it's never too late to create art. So no matter the situation that you're in, the moment you start thinking outside of that box for more and better is that moment to where you're able to tap into that thick layer of consciousness where information's at, and you're able to apply and create your new legacy. But like I said, man, this is all Bossmanship material. There's people out there prepared and ready to do this together. But there's people out there that leery and paranoid, confused, hateful, bitter. I can only think of reasons why people are afraid of communicating and developing a strategy that's beneficial to the whole. Why would anybody run from that or feel like they know more than to the point where they are unavailable to hear? It baffles me, especially if it's people of your own nation. But I'm going to keep pushing, man. Thank you all for the support. To the people out there that I'm yelling to, trying to shake, and I'm getting a hold of, man, just hear me out. If what I'm talking about isn't enough, what kind of plan do you have? Or is 25 years from now not that important to you and your family? If it's not, let me know so I'm not wasting my time. You need to acknowledge the fact that 25 years might not be important to you. Ask yourself or even tell yourself, 25 years ain't important to me. My kids will be all right. I know all there is to know about asteroids. I know all there is to know about climate change and natural geological disasters. And I know why the 9 planets out there are dormant and Earth is the only one that has life. And I know for a fact that potentially Earth won't be like the other 9 examples or 8 examples, however how many planets are out there now. It's time to start thinking, people. There's a lot of dumb people out there right now. Shake them, wake them up. If they don't wake up, step on their head and get up and move them out the way. I'm out.